Hi, this is a video for one of my students, and in particular one of my students that's learning how to do the sight singing using Kodaly method. So we've talked a little bit in our lessons about what sight singing is, and there's another little video, introduction video, which I'm willing to share on my YouTube channel, which is to do with grade 1 using the number method. So this is the grade 3 you get from the RSM book. Okay, and this is using the grade 3 examples, and we're going to be looking at example number 3, which is in the key of F major. So our do is F. Okay, so first things first. The idea of tonic solfa is that you will have, hopefully in my top left, or top right, whichever I decide, have a video, picture of the hand signs, okay, which is do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. Now these would normally go up. I obviously can't make them go up on the video. They all have to be within a certain frame. But nonetheless, if you do it, you should be starting around about your belly button, and you should be moving up to around about your nose by the time you get to the next do. Okay, so why do we use tonic solfa? Well, tonic solfa is a musical assisted musical language that we use, that was created by the composer Zoltán Kodály, a very, very fine composer. Wrote a superb Missa Brevis, gorgeous Missa Brevis, in fact, well worth a listen. And the way that Kodaly wanted to look at music was to allow that every single key would begin with do and end on do in a major scale, and begin on la and end on la in a natural minor scale without any alterations. It would be the Aeolian mode or natural minor, and with the alterations in the letter names, bringing in things like C, for example, and Fi, and things like that. You'd be able to create a language where we could use la to la in the minor scale. So that's where tonic solfa, how the language formulated, and it was designed to help us gain a better understanding of our inner hearing. Inner hearing being that we have to hear the note within ourselves, and we associate that note with a letter like do, for example, or re or mi, part of degree of the scale, and we hear that and we remember how that sounds, and we're able to recreate that with our voice. So it is a tool that a number of musicians have used to help them with their sight singing. And some people like to use numbers, and some people like to use the do, re, mi, fa. So the difficulty with numbers is that 1 minor 3 1 instead of 1 major 3 1. There are more combinations. We can go 1, like there's a place for us, 1 minor 7, for example, or 1 major 7. So here we have slightly more complicated issues with the number system, whereas with we can just simply give different letter names to things. Yeah, so really, really important method of learning. So what activities can we do using do? Well, we must make sure that whatever we do, we always use the hand signs. Why? Because it gives you a visual and kinesthetic, that is a doing activity, to go along with the hearing. It creates a kind of effectively a practice, a state of practicing, okay, which is really important. So first thing we're going to do is a little game which goes do, do, re, mi, re, do. All right, we do it nice and slowly. We're going to be in the key of C major. I'll put the keyboard on there as well, so you can see the keyboard going from C to C. It's all the white notes. Yep, so it keeps it very, very simple. You don't have to worry about keys or working out sharps and what's going on. You just have to go from middle C to the octave above. Okay, so we're going to do this with tonic solfa. Okay, so we're going to do this nice and slowly, especially for me, because my brain, I don't know at half term whether my brain is going to cope with this, but we'll see. Nice and slow. We're going to go do, do, re, do, Do, re, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. I almost came out unscathed, a little bit of a wobble at the end. So you see that having the hand signs at the same time as singing is like the two parts of the brain have to work together and cross over each other and do wonderful things, which is why it's only natural that we'll do what I did and make a mistake. Now, that's all right. It's all right to make a mistake in music. That's part of learning. We mustn't be worried or fearful of making a mistake, okay? Yeah, we put our hand up, say, sorry, get it right next time, and, you know, that's a good attitude to have. But when you're doing something that involves two sides of the brain, rubbing the tummy and patting the head, for example, it often depends how awake you are or how alert you are. Yeah, so that's a good thing. You might want to start with a body warm-up. That might help your brain to be a little bit more active as well. So that's a little activity. You can do it much slower than I've done it and use the hand signs and go up and down the scale. So that's the first thing, learning how to navigate through a scale. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some arpeggios, which I'm going to teach you now. That's the first one. Do. Then we're going to miss re out. We're going to go do, mi. We're going to miss fa out and go so, mi, do. In numbers, we'd say 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. But here we're doing it do, mi, so, mi, do. The next one we're going to do is we're going to move up one note to re, re, and then we go to fa, re, fa, la, fa, re. I'll try that one again. Re, fa, la, fa, re. The next one we're going to move up to mi, mi, so, ti, so, mi. Then we go to la. So for fa, fa, la, do, la, fa. Last one we're going to do goes so, ti, re, ti, so, and then back to do. Do, mi, so, mi, do. So that's a little activity you can do as well. Going through the arpeggios. Only going to go as far as the starting note being a so. That way we've made up all of the chords that we would use at grade 3. We wouldn't, you know, in grade 5 theory as well, we would use all those chords at grade 5 theory. Maybe the number 6 might come in at grade 5, I can't remember. But definitely number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. Yeah, and we talk about chords. So that will give you an idea when we start jumping from note to note. That'll help you. So that's another activity we can do. The final activity we can do to improve our ears is to start on the high do. Do, do. And then we're going to go do, la, ti, so, la, fa, so, mi, fa, re, mi, do. Again, I'm going backwards from the top, missing out one each time. Make sure you complete the activity so you always end back on do. Do, we call in music the root. Like a tree is rooted in the ground, do is our root note. Okay, so there's a couple of activities you can do. Now, what's really important is I need to get on to talking about the example, and I've written two numbers, one set of numbers at the top, and the do, re, mi, the tonic sulfur at the bottom. Okay, and we're going to go to this activity here. Just make sure I've got it clearly in. Use my pencil. So we're in the key of F, so F is do. So if I just follow that, so it's nice and comfortable. Right, make sure my pointer's comfortable. So there's do, do, and you're going to do the hand signs as I go through this. So we're going to go do, re, mi. Now, once you've done that, you must remember where you're coming back to. Do, re, mi, do. So you remember the do that you've just sung. Then you've got to go down one note. Now remember, between do and ti is a small interval. Do, ti, la. Do, ti, la. Then you must remember again where do is. La, do, re, mi, so. Now that, because you're going to go do, re, mi, fa, so, mi, so, because you're missing one out. Yeah. Then for the rest we go shh. Now we've got to remember when we do the rest, because we're going shh, we can't forget the note we started on. Mi, so. Now we've got to go one up. La, so. They'll be missing. So, fa, mi, so, fa, mi, and then re. So that's our first line. I'm just going to... So, really important thing to remember about that first line. I've tried to keep the example up in the top so you can see it as I'm talking to you as well. Now, the most important thing about that example is that that line of music didn't end on do. It ended on re. So we went do, re, mi, do, ti, la, do, re, mi, so, la, so, mi, re. Now, this in music we call this the imperfect cadence. And what this does is that because remember what I told you before, I forgot to say this, you've got piano accompaniment, as you can see. There's your piano accompaniment below. Yours is the top line, you've got piano. So, as I was saying, the piano will give you notes. So the piano part will be something here like this. See? Get my right notes. I'll start that again. I'm not a pianist, so do forgive me. And that was the first line. Yep. Apologies for me on my slow playing. As I say, it's my fourth instrument. So, really important. So now, you had those piano chords gave you the structure of the harmony that you were singing. And what the examiner's looking for you to do is fill in all of the other notes around it. So if you're struggling in the exam, you're going, oh my word, what's going on? No, help, help, help. Let the hole open up in, swallow me whole. No. What you say to yourself is, listen to the piano, pick a note and sing it. Yeah, I know that seems very basic, but you'll be surprised how many marks you'll end up getting. And by the way, you'll get many looks at this. Many looks at this. Now, I don't expect you in the exam to sing do, re, mi. Okay? Don't expect you to do that. You can sing everything to the sound la. Now, that may confuse you because la is part of tonic sulfur. But la is a very good vowel. So, la, 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 sh, la, 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 la. For example, for that first line. Yeah? That will keep clear to the examiner that you know what the rhythm is and you know what thing. We'll talk about rhythm at the end. So that in essence, are some good tips on how you might approach that first line of sight singing. Okay, so we've ended on re, which is an imperfect cadence. So we've gone, we've gone, re. So whenever you see a pattern that ends on re or ends on one note above the starting note, you know that you're going to hear this in harmony. So it's not going home, it's kind of keeping it hanging in the air. And then it comes home again. Mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, do. On the next line, okay? So, we've got a mixture in this piece, if you look, of arpeggios, of missing out. We miss out quite often in this piece. We miss out re. No, yes. Yes, we often miss out re. So we're going do, re, mi, do. That's the first time we miss out re. Then we're missing out ti. We got do, ti, la, ti, do, la, do, re, mi. And now we're missing out fa. Mi, fa, sol, la, sol. Now we're missing out fa again. Fa, la, sol, fa, mi, re. And then here we miss out re. We got re. Now remember, this is the next thing. Remember what you've just sung and how far you're moving to the next note. Re, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol. Yeah, for that phrase, you've gone mi, missed out re to do. So that's why we do this activity I showed you at the beginning. I'll do it in F major, otherwise it's confusing. Yeah, really important. We do that. That's really helpful. Okay, the next thing is to talk about rhythm. Up on the left is some semi-breve, a minim, crotchet, quaver, and the one thing we have to introduce, which is the dot. And I know from your other instrument that you play, which will remain nameless because we're on YouTube, the other instrument that you play, you would have covered the dotted crotchet, which we have here, the dotted crotchet rhythm. So you know that a crotchet is worth 1 because we can see it in our table on the other side. What we do with a dot adds half of the value of the note that comes before it. So if the note comes before it is a crotchet, we're going to add an extra half onto it. So it becomes 1 1/2. So we take that first bar, okay, here. Do, re, mi, do, ti, la. You see that? Now, I've gone 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. See what I've written at the top? So if I have a look at the numbers I've written, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Yeah? So making sure that I'm really understanding each of those rhythms. You can see, I'll hopefully keep it in that you can see the example. So we have here minims, crotchets, quavers, and the introduction of the dotted crotchet moving towards the quaver. That completes the whole 2 beats. So it's 1 1/2 plus another half, which gives you the second beat. Okay, so it's really important that you write things in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, but that you also write the ands in. So when we have a dotted crotchet, it might, if it comes on the third beat, it'll be 3, 4, and 3, 4, and. If it comes on the second beat, it might be 1, 2. So it might be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Sorry, it'll be on the first beat. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, if it's on the first beat. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah? So it's really important you get to understand how that feels and what that signifies. And what I do, I show the 1, 2, 3, 4 ands in. So I draw a parallel for each of my notes and where they lie musically on the bar. And that helps me to make sure that I do the rhythm. So you can do in the exam to help you. You have a preparation time, and you have the piano, and you have everything there to help you. Okay, so we'll work a little bit more on that. So I hope this video's given you a little bit more help. Okay, I don't want to make it too long, boring, but hopefully it's given you a little bit of extra help. Okay, so hope you have a nice break, and look forward to seeing you when I see you. Take care. Bye bye.